Okay, so I've got a couple of images that I've done. So I'm making sure that the images will fit within the space of the tape. So that one will, this one will, and this one will fit on my bead. So that will go on there. So anyway, let's get these done. So I have penned this. Tell me if you've tried, to be honest. But we're good. When it comes to some of your designs, simplify it. That's what I've done. I simplified it because I knew if I didn't, it would go wrong. I'm taking my time with things. You know, I've just started that one. I'm going to colour that in a bit more. I'm going to use these for some of these things. Because I think that not only do I not have all of my stuff, I've only got fine liners with me today, which is a nightmare. So luckily I've got these in my pencil case, so they'll make it work. But yeah, so I've just started that. I'm going to start doing this one. So if you know, when it comes to fine line, you can't really colour in big sections because it won't work. And then you look stupid, and then you get really annoyed, and then you know, it's going to be one of those things. But at least you can do small stuff. That's what I'm going to do now. You might wonder why this video is in portrait mode. Well, most people are going to use these things are going to watch this video. Most people watch videos on their phone, so watch it on your phone. I will do other ones in landscape mode as I go along. But at the moment, it's just going to be in portrait mode. So I'm both on TikTok and YouTube. So that's another reason why this video is in the orientation that it is. So whichever one you are seeing me on, that is awesome. So just finishing this bit, I'll do his eyes, and then I will do like a quick background in maybe pink, or I could do green. Green will make it look like grass, but it's quite bright. Well, I'll do a little test in a moment. I'll make a decision and then we'll see what happens. I'm going to cut him out either way, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to cut all the way around with a little gadget. I don't know if you've seen one of these before, so that's what we're going to use to cut these out. So this is not sharp. It's a reasonably sharp, but the only cutting point is like this fine point. Can't wait to show you this, to be honest. You might wonder what time of day it is. It's midnight. Anyway. I don't look too bad. I'm going to do his eyes. Now I'm going to double check whether this colour is the right one because I'm going to do a little test in the corner. Yep, that'll work. So he's going to be looking up at us, to be honest. That does not look too bad. That is not looking too bad. Because it's the character's white anyway, so I'm going to just do the background. So I'm going to nip this in the corner. Oh, I don't know. I think that green actually doesn't look too bad. Let's do it with green. Let's do it with green. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do sort of a little border, pretty much. What paper am I using? I'm actually using watercolor paper. I have tried this image in watercolor before and it did not go well. It looked rubbish. So I felt like maybe I use a different sort of colour material, so a different medium. So I'm going to use pens a bit more often. Also, these pens don't bleed through. I know my colouring is a little bit weird, but that's just what we're doing today. The image itself, this one in particular, was actually based on a figurine I saw in an exhibition. So I went to an exhibition years and years and years ago, and there was a figure of the character in this glass container. And when you look at it on like its level, it looks normal, but when you look at it from the top, because it's in a glass box, it looked like the character was looking up. So that's where I got inspiration for this design. I'm going to cut this out in a moment. So I'm going to cut all three of these out. This one's already pretty much done. I'm just going to use another highlighter to go around this one. And this one, I'll do a mixture of these two colours. This one for the flowers underneath. And then I will show you these cut out. Okay, so I'm going to colour this and then we'll cut it out next. Okay, so all coloured. Now I get to use this. I'm going to use it for this. This actually does. I'll show you what this does before I play around with it on here. Quick demo. This creates some crazy curves. Look at that. That's pretty good. See, this paper's a bit thicker than I'd normally, but just to demonstrate that this spins. And this is the main cutting point. It's not that sharp. I'm not physically hurting myself, which is why it's so good. So anyway, I'm going to cut these two out. Hopefully it's going to go well. Otherwise, you won't see this video. The bottom one is going to be cut out with the scissors, so I'll deal with that later. So I'm going to go around this one. So I'm going to be careful, so this might take a minute. So I'm going to zoom out, just so it makes sense. I'm not going to do anything crazy with these lines, to be honest. And I am going to take my time. Okay, it's not gone all the way through. That's fine. That's not a problem. I'd rather take my time and do it properly than rush. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I go over the lines that I need to. Hopefully, this will. There you go. Oh, there you go. Alright, that's not too bad. I'm gonna trim some of these bits off in a moment. Save that as one piece. This one's a bit larger, so It's going to be a bit more, maybe I'll put a bit more pressure. And it's quite close to the edge, so I may just do a very simple curve, maybe. Yep, just making sure I've got the line. Getting there. There you go. So I will have to trim a little bit here and there just to tidy that up. Hopefully that'll fit. Because now I have moments where I think, is this going to fit? And just about. I might have trimmed that a little bit, but otherwise I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I've trimmed this a little bit more. I need a bit more practice with this thing, to be honest, so I will be doing that more later. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'm going to quickly trim that as well. So because this is going to be part of the bead, which I've already pre-made, well, partly pre-made, which I'll show you in a second. So this trimming is not all of it, so I'm going to... Actually, yeah, that seems alright. What I'm going to do, I'll trim this. And just get that a bit more level. It's good enough. I don't want to overcut it, otherwise it's not going to work. That'll do. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to turn those into sticks in a moment, because I want to deal with this first. So what I've got my bead nearly finished. So I've used a 2 centimeter, no, it's 3 centimeter thick, or wide, 2 centimeter wide piece of A4 paper, like a strip. These are 2 little skewers, very easy to get hold of. And it's just glue, so let me just pop this off. I'll get that tidied up. Luckily I do have some other trimming instruments to trim it if I need to. I can just trim the pieces if I need to, which I might do in a moment. It's not too bad. I'm not really too worried about this bit because it's going to get covered in a moment. It's going to be covered in this. So I'm going to do a bit of glue. Now here's the thing, because of these things sometimes don't go well. Got a little box, not a big box, but a little box of all the beads that go wrong. So that should be okay. So yeah, we're just going to wrap it round. And then you realise it's not going to fit. But I will put something else there. I haven't decided yet. So it's going to be a bit fiddly, so I'm going to give it a moment to settle. Give it a moment to settle, and then it should be fine. I'm definitely going to add something here. I just don't know what yet. That isn't bad. This is technically, for this size. I haven't made any of this size at all, so put that there. That should be fine. So now with the stickers, okay. First of all, clean your hands. Make sure you don't have glue on your hands. Okay. Some of the previous stickers I tried to make, I had some glue still on my hands because it's PVA, and it's gone everywhere. And it's just not. It's just everything's just gone wrong. So, a sip of coffee. It is late, but I'm okay. I'm gonna grab some. That's exactly the right size as well. That is pretty good. These are pre-cut pieces, so that'd be okay for that one. So these are pre-cut. I keep hitting this. I don't know why. So what we're going to do, while I'm here, let's trim this. Obviously, if you're watching this, I really do appreciate you watching. I know this is going to be a bit long, but hopefully this makes sense. So yeah, trim, trim, trim. Out. So this is the bit that's going to take a bit of time to get right. So tape. I'm going to have to take my time with this. So I may have to edit this a little bit. Make sure there's no pieces. I'll do it from there. Also during this, I'm going to try not to breathe so loud. The last thing I want to do is breathe too much and then that flies across the room. Now obviously this isn't my preferred way of making stickers, to be honest. But I don't have a cry cut yet. So take my time, take my time, take my time. Place it on. Oh, look at that, just give it a quick. That just reached the edge. So it did go a little bit wonky, but that's okay. That's okay. I think I can live with that. Let's just trim this. I'm going to use this as a little, see if this will trim the tape. Yes. It trims tape. Not too bad. That's one. So I'm going to do the other one. Hopefully this one goes a bit better. I think when it's too big, you sometimes don't get it towards the edge. Like this one. So this one should be easier. Say should. Famous last words. So we are nearly done. Nearly done, nearly done, nearly done. Nice and slow. Place it on. Oh, nearly went wrong, nearly went wrong. There we go. We are okay. We're okay. That nearly went wrong, but it wouldn't have made too much of a problem. Yep. So I'm going to give this trim. Give it a trim there. That is alright. That is alright. We're doing well today. So hopefully, I'm going to grab a bit of paracord. We're going to get the bead on. Yep, the back piece. We're gonna imagine this came out a bit better. Go and poke this through the gap. I'll come back in a second. Okay, now it's on. There we go. So I've got my stickers and my bead. Now, could I have made this bead better? Yes. Yes, I could have. And maybe next time I will improve. That's part of this. We're going to improve. You're not going to get everything perfect straight away. You know, you've got to use what you've got, and we'll go from there. So thank you for watching.